And I bid you welcome, Survivor. So this is going to be really interesting and different stream where they are going through a lot of the arts as far as animation, environment builds, and how they've actually put that all together. You'll see some videos towards the end, which has the animation, how that is done, and the different weapons and assets they have, and it's really nice to see and sort of see how that comes together. And you see the difference before and after previous version and what they're doing now. So that's going to be really awesome. So it's going to be sort of a blend of things. They probably should have done those really cool things early on in the stream and sort of done a little bit more dry stuff in the middle towards the end, but it's really interesting to see, so make sure you catch that towards the end of the video as well. And as always, please do subscribe and leave me a like and maybe a comment if there's anything you feel is really interesting you'd like to discuss. If nothing else, the more people that subscribe, the easier I have to make these videos for you. It is of course all free to watch, but they take literally hours each to make because there's so much content in there. But I hope you find it enjoyable, hope you find it useful as you go through these last couple of weeks before we hit Alpha 19 release. Let's flip over to the team.
Hey everybody, so tonight we're doing another TFP dev stream for Alpha 19. This is the third one. This will be the environment artists, and as you can see, Rick is here also.
Welcome to the third installment of the Fun Pimps developer streams. Tonight we have a large group. We have Justin Owens, senior technical artist. We have Young Hao Wang, senior environment artist. We have Hung Pham, senior environment artist. We have Noe Serrano, environment artist. We have Ryan Kowalczyk, senior animator, and Koji Higashi, animator, along with your host, Lathan Meadows, who's a senior programmer for TFP. And the next event will be this Friday night, backed by popular demand. Mr. Joel Mad Mulhunick will be in the house talking about gameplay and doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations.
Should be a lot of fun.
It will be fun. We'll have to.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen any of these streams before, I think the Friday one with Joel Madmol should probably be a pretty good one. He obviously has been around for such a long time, and he knows a lot of things about the game. He does communicate on the forums, and sometimes on Reddit, but a lot of times on the forums. And it's a good time to ask him questions to get his feedback, because he's really involved in, obviously, the game development, the design.
Hey, everybody. Hey, I'm Justin Owens, senior technical artist, and I've been in the video game industry for about 15 years, worked at id Software. I've been an independent developer for about 8 years, and I worked with Fun Pimps for about 2.5 years. At the beginning of this alpha, one of the things that I worked on was I wanted to kind of improve the way that we render and create hair. So this image is Trader Joel. You guys might know a little bit about Trader Joel. You may have seen him a couple of times during the thousands of hours you've been playing 7 days. And yeah, so what you're seeing here is basically like thousands of hairs that I sculpted. And this was just, trying to improve the way that we create hair. So now you see the low poly version, and this is all that data gets baked down. We texture it, and this is mostly kind of what you guys saw on the other stream. But this was kind of before we decided to kind of go for it, and we wanted to figure out if we could actually do it internally. So once we bake all that down, we kind of create these little silhouette cards, and that's what you see at the bottom of the beard there. And so yeah, that kind of gives you kind of a more realistic feel for the way beard, we call it beard tech.
So hair and beard obviously is a challenge in a lot of games to make it look natural. It tends to look very static. Obviously, they put a lot of work into this one because it looks really good here. I still think it's probably very static once it's in the game and on the model, so it doesn't sort of wave around, move around very much.
So this is more of the hair tech that we kind of came up with, and this is Noah Wright, and we wanted to kind of figure out a way to make the hair a little more integrated into the scalp and the face, to where it doesn't look pasted on. It doesn't look like it's just kind of floating. That comes a little later. So yeah, we can move on, Lathan.
Looks fantastic.
Thanks. And that's kind of the in-game version.
So in a coming alpha, not this next one, you will get to meet this gentleman after you quest with the basic traders in the game. You get the attention of Noah Wright and Duke Cassador, who are really the main two characters of the game.
What you can see here is actually they come really far, surprisingly far, down with modeling, texturizing these non-zombie types as well. I mean, obviously we saw a little bit of the Duke, we saw some of the henchmen last time, and now we have Noah. Obviously, they've done a lot of work that we don't see in game yet, but it looks like they're getting there, at least with the models. And I hope they actually start to put them in, even if it's really basic. Give me some basic AI, some basic functionality. Doesn't have to be completed. Sort of put it in there, try it out.
Kind of in the middle of the alpha, we decided to take a bit of a turn on the burnt forest. And for a while, I'm sure you guys know, the burnt forest has kind of had that really dark brown tone to it, and it's very monochromatic. And we wanted to kind of spice it up a little bit and have more complementary colors in that biome.
I really like that. I mean, it was a couple of alphas back where the burnt forest was just dark and drab. I mean, it was a little bit spooky and everything, but I hated it to go in there for anything specific beyond maybe getting fertilizer. And it wasn't very fun. You wouldn't want to live there, build bases there, because it was just drab, just dull. You need to have some colors to make it really pop out and make it interesting.
So I sculpted a tree that looks like it's actually burnt now. So this is the bark, and it has like some of the bark's charred and fallen off. So you go to the next line. So that's this tree in game. Just nothing really special about it, but once you put a bunch of them in the scene, it really does kind of look like the forest fire in the burnt forest. So it really enhances the kind of overall feel of the burnt forest. It feels like you're walking through something that has just gotten burned up. So this is the new snow tree, and this was on Rick's list for a while, right?
Oh yeah. We wanted thicker trees. If you played any Red Dead Redemption, we wanted something we wanted to move closer to that direction, and Justin nailed it.
All right. So this is kind of a before and after shot of the linear color space and linear lighting conversion that we did. And,
you can see the difference from the top, which looks a little bit dull, a little bit drab. I mean, sort of how the game has been looking. And then you look at the bottom where obviously they've redone a little bit. They have some more colors around, some more assets in there, and that have been in the last couple of alphas. But the color, it just pops a lot more. It just looks a lot better. It looks more detailed. It looks more real.
Just a way that
I don't really believe there's any performance cost to these new visuals. We're paying for them already. We're just finally taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
And that's something that is really important. Obviously, people are always concerned about the performance, and you heard there from Rick, the performance isn't really impacted. I mean, it's already been paid for, but just making it look a lot better using what they have and what they can do.
Loading screens. I had a lot of fun working on the loading screens, and this is one of the ones that you're going to be seeing whenever you are loading up a map. So basically, I have to fly around the wasteland and just do like scouting locations that have interesting compositions, and these that are going in. And
All right. Next one, let me introduce Mr. Hung Pham. He's a senior environment artist. Came to the team the first year. Hung and I both worked at Gearbox together. Shared the same office even quite a few years ago.
So these are just some of the other assets that I started to kind of redo and bring them up kind of HD versions. These are some of the bunk beds that I redid. The way this game works is it all is like blocks and they all fit together. And so, you make these assets and they all fit like a 1 meter grid. And so, it's a bit of a challenge. Normally you would just build the asset and just place however you want, but the way the game works and it allows the players to kind of stack and create their own environments, it's a bit of getting used to.
There's a lot of stuff to this because you guys set out to try to make the commercial stores feel like believable stores.
Here's some of the pharmaceutical products. And then here's some of the assets for the clothing stores. This was really fun, just creating all the different clothes and keeping them generic enough so that you don't see them repeat that often, and then not making really bright, flashy colors again, just so that
they look great,
modular.
And I think that's going to be really nice. I wonder if they're going to do that by individual items, because I don't think it's textures as such that you can paint on things. I think this will be items that you'll see.
And if you go a little bit further, there's some kind of screenshots of them inside test locations, POIs.
There's the beverage cooler.
Yeah. It's actually really satisfying seeing all this art that you create go into the.
Oh, these ones look awesome. I mean, this is obviously, as I suspect, the new blocks or new assets that get put down, and they look really good. I hope we can craft and use them ourselves, because these ones will look a lot better than just having normal boring storage boxes. But having something like this for your electronics or for your clothing or whatever it is, that would look really awesome. But I suspect they might not be. Obviously, modders can change that.
Can you move on to?
Oh yeah.
Myself. Oh, actually, let me introduce myself.
Yeah, do that real fast.
Like Richard saying, I started with the game industry, 2000 summer. I was an architect before a game artist, so I'm a little bit late to join that awesome industry. Yeah, I have joined that Fun Pimps a year and a half ago as a full-time contract, and there's a lot of work to do to upgrade or create new stuff, but nobody pushes me, so I just take my time, let myself just do what I got to do. Take one task by next task, one by one. So it was a lot of fun, and at the time was PBR stuff, transition period. So I had to figure out myself how to utilize the Substance Painter. So here I have started with that from high poly model and low poly model and UV and then texture in the Substance Painter, one by one.
Wow, this one looks really amazing. I love this. Looks so much better than before.
The drone. We're working on that thing, or we're not going to promise it's going to make experimental or stable, but we're going to keep working on it. And if things go well, it'll make stable or a patch. Just to curb expectations there. It's one of the more challenging aspects of AI design for the build. But Young Hao did a good job modeling that thing. It has attachments, and he even has you'll see more later. And animators are going to show it a little bit of that too.
And these assets are awesome. Obviously, it's a lot of familiar ones from previous versions, but it's really good to see them come into the game because if you've seen my expanded decoration mod, you'll know that I've actually put them in so you can actually craft them and use them in your base builds yourself and not just see them in POIs, because I think that's really key to making a great base by using all these wonderful assets that are in the game and that they will be putting into the game in the future, because they don't necessarily make them craftable. So I have that expanded decoration mod that allows you to do that, and I'll update that for Alpha 19 as well, and include all these nice, really awesome models.
All right, this is another fun weapons that created in Fun Pimp. This is still active. So like a Metamax vibe, everything just jammed together. The weapons, it's not just handmade weapons, right? So from garage or some car repair shop, put them together, weld it together. So this is how, still access works. Next.
Yeah.
Like I said, is make a high poly model and then sculpting.
So the higher tiered axes have gotten, obviously you can see we went a little more Mad Max with them. They're pretty darn cool looking though.
For sure. So it's fun because sometimes it's very cliche is the mecha weapons, weapon is a weapon, but we can give some characters on that, some welding beads, some bicycle, the gears, put them together and bolt a nut. It's kind of fun to make it up. It's also good to see it in the game.
Nice. And they were actually showing tons of these new textures of the weapons or the tools and everything, and it's really hard to bring in all of them because there's like few minutes, 5 minutes discussion or highlight of each of them. So there's just tons of them. So if you're really interested in seeing how they've made them and from the beginning modeling the texture and getting all done, make sure you go check the stream itself.
Hi everybody.
Hi Noe.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hi, my name is Noe Serrano. I'm a 3D environmental artist. I've been working in the game industry for the past 10 years now. I have shipped over 9 video games. Some of those games, I don't know if I could plug them in or not, but Rage, Firefall, Homeworld Remaster, 5 different Call of Duty titles. And the last one I worked on was Doom Eternal. This is my first prop. Like I said, I've been only here with the Fun Pimps for the past 3 months, and it's just I got a simple proxy. I went through the process of building a high poly, and this is the low poly textured in engine. Just trying to get trying to see how the light reads and everything. Trying to maintain a good look for it. And here is just me trying to get a placement, making sure that it tiles properly, that it's not overlapping on anything and it reads properly. This is just some of I'm still working on this. This is like a bulletin board that I've been working in. Just I'm trying to add some story elements to this, but this is where it's at right now.
One thing I really wish they would allow us to put in is really uploading our own images into the game, and you see that in quite a number of other games where you have that capability where you can either take a picture with an in-game camera or even from a sort of a PNG or something that you have on your hard drive, you can actually load it into the game and it'll be visible as a texture. So I think that's something that it does add this extra personal feel. A lot of people might not be using it, but when you do it, it adds that extra, whether it's on a sign or painting canvas or something, to really make it look the way you want it. Maybe your own icon or your logo or your own poster or something that you really love that you want to have in your base. I think that would be cool.
Just missing posters that you would see throughout the world since the world has gone bad or whatnot. And
Who's Matthew Huang?
That's and yeah, you could probably see one of the guys that's right now in the chat. He's in there too.
There's the various team members in these pictures here.
Rick, I don't see you in there.
I'm not in there, but somehow Lucky the dog made it in.
Wow.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad they put that in. Obviously, it's something that is fairly common in video games. They put in the images of team members and everything, and you saw Kumquat there at the bottom left, and it's really cool. I mean, it's something a little bit extra to put in a game to personalize it a little bit and make people feel a little bit more connection.
Okay.
So last but not least, we have the animation team. We have Brian Kowalczyk and Koji Higashi. Brian's a senior animator, and Koji is an animator for the team. Brian let Brian tell a little bit about himself. He's prepared a little video for us to watch after. Take it away, Brian.
Let's see. I went to Vancouver Film School, 2001. I went to Animation Mentor in 2006. Started working at 3D Realms in 2003. Duke Nukem. So yeah, that was fun. And then went to Retro Studios. Worked at Nintendo for a couple years, and then went to id Software for 10 years.
On the screen.
We'll get Koji to say hello. Koji Monster.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Koji.
Hey, is it a little laggy?
No.
Not bad.
Good. Okay, cool. I'm Koji Higashi, and I started with the Fun Pimps in 2015. This is my first job in animation. They're very nice to pick me up from there. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I did go to Animation Mentor, for my education.
Okay, first up is the auto shotgun.
I'm still loading my stream.
Looking at the rig.
This thing is ridiculous, by the way.
It's my favorite weapon now.
It is mine too. Yeah.
Love how the shells rotate in the drum mag like that. Oh yeah, here's a third-person animation of it. It's supposed to be an automatic weapon, so, jumping around too much.
This definitely looks better than against the radiated soldiers. These are mostly unarmored, so yeah, that looks so much more powerful.
Desert Eagles, or Desert Vultures up, I mean.
Desert Vulture, yeah.
Desert Vulture, the only gun that will get you infected as well.
This thing is a monster too. The new sniper rifle.
Sharpshooter rifle, yeah.
Koji may just have to work.
Getting a new sharpshooter weapon will be really nice. Obviously, it looks like you really need to use the scope on it because it's so bulky on top. I guess that's intended.
Tried to make the animations a little bit more brutish. And this guy is just going to punch people in the crotch.
Make sure you aim that the right way, away from, well, me at least.
Zombie crotch there.
You can see, zombie crotch right there.
Oh, there it is.
Junk drum. Yeah, and this guy, you can see the rigging, a little bit of some of the details. You can actually move the head, you can move the arms, you can move all sorts of bits and pieces of the mods. This was really, really fun to work on. Pops up.
Wow, that looks amazing. Oh, going to be really interesting to see that one come in.
Yeah, so we needed swim animations for the zombies.
Oh yeah, they're gonna swim after you now.
Yeah, Sean Liptak was pushing this, and it's sorry, it kind of moves a little bit fast.
Yeah, no, I paused it.
This one's the idol.
Also, moved on to land animations, stumble animations, like land heavy animations. So when zombies crash through ceilings, they only had one sort of animation before that. So we're trying to do something different where they kind of stumble up and do something that's kind of interesting.
So it's less rigid, yeah.
Yeah.
It's way better.
You can see, that doesn't look good. Even running with brass knuckles doesn't look good, and running with any sort of weapon, you can see it. Like even the bat is kind of a little bit stiff, but we made some improvements to kind of shake that stuff around a little bit and make it look a little bit more realistic,
alive. Yeah.
So this will definitely help the YouTubers making
Or when you're playing co-op or whatever, and you're looking over at your friend, you're not like pulled out of the game because you're looking at the bad animation.
Yeah. Just a little swagger with the bat just gives it just enough.
Oh, this is amazing. This is something that has been missing for such a long time. Make it a lot more natural. I mean, you don't see it when you're playing single player. We're playing multiplayer. You see it definitely. If you make any, if you're a content creator and make videos and you sort of detach the camera or you go into third person, it makes a huge difference to just the feel of what the video shot you're making.
Hey, Brian and Koji, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. So
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. All the main stuff we really wanted to cover, but we'd like to open the floor to people to ask questions. We'd love to know if any new zombie animations will be added in the future.
I believe so.
Mocap keyframe. I mean, we could do small bits in keyframe, large bits in mocap.
Well, I think especially we'd add them if we add some new special infected that have different behavior types. And for example, if a zombie was a leader and he buffed the guys around him and he did an animation, we'd need that animation.
Yeah.
More variants. The guys will probably do more variants too. So.
And I think those are both two really good things. I mean, having variants is important, but also special zombies that move a certain way would be really cool.
Can we have boats? I don't think so, everybody. I mean, well, Rick answer it, but I don't think so.
There was a raft model made at one point, and we may put it in if we have extra time, but we are really focused on things like bandits in the coming builds. A gold version of random gen we can get behind.
I think that's a bit of a pity. I mean, some people might have seen the raft model that is in there. Now you have the swimming zombies. And I think that would make sense to, put in the raft, because there are some places that would make sense to have a raft to move around and everything, especially with zombies, if they can come after you. Then that would give a little bit of, you can't be totally safe there even if you're on the raft, but it would mean that you don't have to drive around these big areas or big lakes and everything. But of course that depends on the random gen, how that looks as well. So there was a really long Q&A at the end. I think it was almost an hour where there were just tons of questions and a lot of information in there. Just that it's very specific, and some is animation, a lot of it's just general things in there. So I'm not going to be covering that in detail because it's just so lengthy. It would really require me to have almost unedited of an extra half an hour of footage here, so I'm not going to put that in, but there's a lot of things in there. I wish they would sort of summarize some of these things in points. Maybe someone's going to do that. I know someone did that last year on Reddit actually, but there's just so much information in that it gets brought up at some times. Personally, I thought it was really interesting to see all the animations, how they come together, the textures, the block, and new assets that are going into the game. And this is something that we haven't seen from the previous versions, really. We haven't really seen and heard from the team itself. So I really love that, and thank you, Fun Pimps, for bringing that out as part of the stream series. And if you're here at the end of my video, thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe and follow along Prime on Twitch as well, and watch him on Friday with Madmo. I'll catch you again.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.